Welcome back to the channel, guys. Kerrod here, back in the studio at Joondalup Resort, and in this video I'm going to be talking all about club face awareness, or how where you aim this club face at address and at the moment of impact dictates where that golf ball is going to start. If you're struggling to control where your ball is flying, watch this video and I'm sure it will help. Let's get into it. Now, there's a few variables that affect the way that the golf ball flies in regards to start line, curvature, trajectory, and spin. But today we're going to be talking about the king of all of those, which is club face alignment. And I've got a drill set out with you here with a red noodle just in front. And we're going to utilize this little practice station here to give you a greater awareness of how adjusting the club face angle at address and getting the feeling of where it is at impact has a massive influence over where your golf ball starts. So there are quite a few variables that can affect your club face alignment, starting from your address in regards to your grip, and also the way that your wrists move throughout the golf swing, among a few other things. But today we're going to be talking specifically about just what actually happens at the moment of impact, regardless of how you're holding it and how you're swinging it, because at the end of the day, the ball only knows what the club face is doing. So if we can at least build some awareness and some drills around controlling this angle here, that can play a massive part in helping you get a better understanding of what you need to do as an individual to get your ball started a little bit straighter from shot to shot. Okay, starting off. Now, the understanding here is that of all things that happen in the golf swing, where your club face is aiming at the moment of impact has the greatest influence on your start line. Now, the less loft you have, the more this is apparent. So therefore, if your club face is slightly open with a driver, it's going to start further right than if you had a slightly open club face with a sand wedge or a lob wedge. And the reason being, with the more loft you have, the ball won't tend to go as sideways, it'll just tend to go a little bit more up. So therefore you have more of a glancing blow, so the ball won't start as crooked straight off the golf club. So this is really important for those of you, especially with driver, who are starting that ball a long way to the right or a long way to the left. So in here, we've got this noodle set out in front, and all we're going to do to start off with this little drill is you're going to try and get your club face aligned as square with that red noodle as possible, and you're simply just going to hit a little half shot down there. Now, I got lucky on that one and hit the noodle straight off the bat. That doesn't happen every single time, but what that would mean would be that my club face was aiming directly at the noodle. So let's say I was to do that again, and this time, for whatever reason, my club face was open. Now, the ball started to the right. And the reason being, if my club face was perfectly aligned at the camera here, my club face on that one there was turned to the right for the right-hander at the moment of impact. The ball hit the club face and shot out to the right. So let's say you start off doing this drill, and the first 5 shots, every single shot goes to the right. So you've got the intent of trying to hit the noodle, but every single one is going to the right. So what I would then want you to do, without changing your alignment, without changing how you're holding the golf club, is simply work on getting the ball starting to the left. And the way that we're going to do that at the beginning is by simply just trying to get the ball starting to the left. And it doesn't really matter how much. Effectively, what I want you to do is simply just do the opposite to what your current tendency is. So I started off, my ball went to the right, right, right. All I'm going to do from this setup is now work as hard as I can to get this ball starting to the left. Now, for me, the feeling to do that is that I'm just trying to purposely get this club face closing at the moment of impact, so I can just build awareness to what the opposite of getting that ball started out to the right would be. So this is a great exercise that I get a lot of my players to do, and what it entails is you set up, you've got the intent of aiming at the noodle, and then you've got a bunch of balls here, and I want you to alternate from a square alignment, so where your club face is aiming at the intended target here, but you're going to alternate between hitting it to the right, and then the next one, hitting it to the left. Now, changing up from shot to shot, right, left, do that multiple times, let's say about 10 times, so you get a real good awareness and feeling of the difference between an open club face and a closed club face. After you've done that a few times, then I want you to see if you can narrow that margin and then go ahead and hit the noodle. Once again, got pretty lucky. I've practiced this exercise a lot, so I have very good awareness of an open and a closed club face. The more you do this, however, if you tend to start with any sort of tendency, so for example, you hit it to the right all the time, by bringing in that club face and making it closer and closer to the start line through doing this little exercise here, well, then you can take that feeling out on course. Now, this is what we call a skill development exercise, and this is effectively not worrying too much about your technique. It's just bringing awareness to how this here can really affect where that golf ball starts. So a great drill. I personally use it a lot. I get a lot of my players to use it, and I highly advise you give this one a shot. All you simply do, place a noodle or an alignment stick out in front, hit a few shots at the beginning, seeing what your tendency is. Then I want you to try and do the opposite. After you've done that, then I want you to alternate between left, right, left, right. When you feel comfortable that you're starting to narrow that margin or narrow that dispersion, then I want you to give it a good shot at trying to hit the noodle in front. Now start off with some half shots, build up to 3/4, and then eventually to some full shots. The faster you swing it, the more challenging this might be at the beginning, but regardless, a fantastic exercise for players of any level to work on to really give you some better control over that club face. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please go down below, click subscribe, click that little bell so you get notified of any upcoming videos just like this. But until next time, I'm Kerrod. Thanks for watching.